Hello YouTubers, have I got a show for you. So what I got stored is pretty exciting. Well, I don't know if you have heard the latest news. The whistleblower who used to work from ABC. So supposedly this whistleblower used to work at ABC, had sent an affidavit to Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, and he sent this affidavit to Mike Johnson, and now supposedly they are investigating what this affidavit claims. So this is very exciting. So, but as we all know, they are denying. So obviously ABC is denying that this is all false. What do you expect? So this is shocking. There's also recordings from the whistleblower, and we're gonna get right into it. All right, so stay tuned, and we're gonna talk about it. And there's a lot of very interesting topics that you don't want to miss. So stay tuned, and we're going to talk about it. All right. All right. So let's get right into it. And so, according to the whistleblower, the affidavit states that September 9th, 2024, this is the day before the debate, it contains serious allegations of bias by ABC News in its handling of the presidential debate between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. The whistleblower, a longtime employee of ABC News, claimed that the network gave preferential treatment to the Harris campaign in ways that compromised the fairness of the debate. Well, we kind of know that a little bit. So here are some key points in the affidavit. Number one, preferential treatment in Kamala Harris. So the whistleblower alleged that ABC News provided the Harris campaign with sample questions ahead of the debate. Although these questions were not exact, they reported covered topics similar to those that would be asked, giving Harris a strategic advantage. This arrangement allowed the Harris team to better prepare compared to Trump, whose campaign was not given the same courtesy. Okay. Number two, debate stage and media presentation. The whistleblower stated that ABC agreed to make accommodations that would visually and strategically benefit Kamala Harris. These included a smaller podium for Harris compared to Trump, and camera angles that would be more favorable to her during split-screen moments. This claim further emphasizes the alleged intentions to subtly create a more favorable presentation of Harris. Number 3, selective fact-checking. As you may already know, that Trump was mostly fact-checked and Harris was not fact-checked. So, according to the affidavit, ABC News had agreed with Harris' campaign to implement live fact-checking during the debate, specifically targeting Donald Trump. No similar measures were reported taken to fact-check Kamala Harris. This decision, the whistleblower alleged, was widely known within the network and was part of a broader effort to influence the debate's perception. Number 4, restricted topics. The affidavit also claims that the Harris campaign placed restrictions on certain questions, including avoiding discussions about President Joe Biden's health. Harris' record as Attorney General in California and allegations surrounding her brother-in-law, Tony West. This is good. This brother-in-law, Tony West. This is going to get very interesting. I did some search. I don't know if any of you has heard about Kamala's brother-in-law, Tony West. Just stay tuned to it. Yeah, this is very interesting. So, who faced accusations of financial misconduct? The whistleblower suggested that these restrictions limited crucial scrutiny for Harris during the debate. So they didn't want this brought up. They didn't want the moderators to bring up Harris's brother-in-law whatsoever, because that would ruin her campaign. Yeah, I will elaborate more on this in just a moment. So number 5, supporting evidence. The whistleblower claims to have backed these accusations with audio recordings of internal ABC News discussions that corroborated the preferential treatment given to Harris' campaign. These recordings allegedly reveal detailed communications between ABC News staff and Harris' campaign, confirming that certain terms were negotiated without Trump campaign's involvement. Additionally, the whistleblower included document evidence such as certified letter sent to Speaker Mike Johnson to establish a formal record. Now here it is. The mention of Kamala Harris's brother-in-law. Now here's where it gets very interesting. Okay. The mention of Kamala Harris's brother-in-law, Tony West. You can look it up. In the whistleblower's affidavit is relevant because highlights the alleged restrictive conditions set by Harris' campaign on what questions could and could not be asked during the presidential debate. According to the affidavit, the Harris campaign specifically requested that no questions be raised about Tony West. Keep listening. During the debate, West, a high-profile attorney and corporate executive, faced allegations of financial misconduct, including accusations of involvement in the embezzlement of taxpayers' funds. Okay? The inclusion of Kamala Harris' brother-in-law Tony West in the whistleblower's affidavit is important because it underscores the alleged manipulation of debate topics by Harris' campaign to avoid uncomfortable or damaging discussions. According to the whistleblower, the Harris campaign specifically requested that questions regarding Tony West and his allegedly financial misconduct, including the involvement of embezzlement of taxpayer funds, be kept off limits during the September 2024 debate. Okay, now here's the good stuff. The good stuff is there now. Tony West's background and allegations. Now here's the good stuff. Here it is. Tony West is a prominent attorney and corporate executive, such as general counsel for Uber, and holding various significant legal roles, including stints of the United States Department of Justice. In the affidavit, the whistleblower highlights that West had faced allegations of financial improprieties such as embezzlement of taxpayers' funds, which, if raised during the debate, could have been politically damaging of Kamala Harris. The Harris campaign, seeking to protect Harris from negative public attention on these issues, reportedly requests that these topics be excluded from the debate. But they're going after Trump for all these allegations that Trump did this, Trump did that. Okay? So the allegations against Kamala Harris's brother-in-law Tony West primarily centers around claims that he misused taxpayers' funds during his tenure as Associate Attorney General under the Obama administration. Specifically, West is accused of directing settlement funds from high-profile cases to left-leaning groups and law firms that align with his political agenda. One of the most controversial settlements involved discrimination complaints from Hispanics and female farmers in 2010. The settlement, initially valued at $1.33 billion, ballooned to over $4.4 billion. Critics argue that West pushed for its settlement to benefit political allies, including law firms that received significant legal fees, reportedly exceeding $130 million. Another example includes West's role in a 2016 settlement with Volkswagen, which required the company to fund a $2 million electric car initiative that had previously been rejected by Congress. These allegations tie into the broader accusation that West, while in a position of authority at the Department of Justice, steered large amounts of taxpayer money towards causes and groups that supported his political interest, which some argue represents a misuse of public funds. Although these claims have yet to be definitely proven in court, they have generated significant controversy, especially given West's close ties with Vice President Harris. The whistleblower affidavit, which mentioned restrictions to debate questions regarding Tony West, suggests that the Harris campaign sought to avoid bringing attention to these allegations during the 2024 presidential debate. During the period when Tony West was involved in the controversial settlement and allegations of financial misconduct, he was serving in a senior role in the U.S. Department of Justice. West also held position of Associate Attorney General from 2012 to 2014, having previously been appointed by President Obama. His role primarily involved overseeing major settlements, including those with corporate entities like Bank of America, JP Morgan Chase, and Volkswagen. These settlements often resulted in significant funds being directed to certain groups, which sparked accusations of political favoritisms. After leaving the Department of Justice, West took on the role of General Counsel for Pepsi-Cola and later became the Chief Legal Officer for Uber. But the allegations of embezzlement and financial misconduct pertaining to his time in the public sector, specifically while he was in charge of handling federal settlements. The claims of embezzlement revolved around how these settlements were managed, with accusations that funds were diverted into politically aligned organizations instead of being used strictly for their intended legal purposes. Okay. Broader implications of topic control. So we're getting to a different topic now. So the specific restrictions regarding, this is still a little bit of Tony West. The specific restrictions regarding Tony West ties into the broader allegations in the affidavit that Harris' campaign had control over what questions could be asked during the debate. The whistleblower claims that this was part of a large strategy to ensure that Harris would not be confronted with difficult or controversial subject, effectively shield her from criticism. The affidavit contends that ABC News complied with these requests, further indicating bias and a breach of journalism integrity. The allegations of preferential treatment and selected questions suggest that the debate was staged to benefit Harris. By avoiding topics like Tony West's legal issues, Harris was allegedly able to avoid scrutiny over matters that could have painted her in a negative light. This is especially significant in a political debate where candidates are expected to address tough questions about their records and association. Ethical concerns. If true, these claims represent a serious violation of journalism ethics, as debate moderators are expected to provide a fair and unbiased platform for all candidates. Allowing one campaign to dictate which topics are off limits undermines the purpose of a debate, which is to present a balanced and transparent discussions over the issues. In these cases, shielding Harris from potentially damaging questions about her family connections, including Tony West, would have given her an unfair advantage. Overall, the whistleblowers claim that ABC News agreed to these restrictions conditions, especially concerning Tony West, serves as part of the larger narrative that the network acted in a biased manner by protecting Harris during the debate. These allegations tie into the broader narrative that the Harris campaign was dictating which topics were off limits for discussion, which, according to the whistleblower, was a breach of journalism ethics. By imposing these restrictions, Harris could avoid addressing political sensitive or damaging subjects such as her family involvement in legal controversies. The affidavit claims that ABC News complied with this request, further reinforcing the idea of bias and preferential treatment for Harris during the debate. The supporting evidence cited by the whistleblower in the affidavit is crucial to the credibility of the allegations. The whistleblower claims to have provided audio recordings of internal discussions at ABC News that substantiate the accusations of preferential treatment of Kamala Harris during the debate. These recordings reportedly capture details conversations between ABC News staff and the Harris campaign, showing that specific agreements were made to favor Harris without the acknowledgement of involvement of the Trump campaign. Details of the recordings. The whistleblower asserts that these internal recordings reveal that ABC News and Harris campaign negotiated terms ahead of the debate. Among these terms were the sharing of samples questions or topics that will be covered in the debate, a deliberate effort to avoid asking questions, certain challenging questions such as those related to President Joe Biden's health or controversies involving her brother-in-law Tony West. Agreed upon measures that would ensure Trump would be fact-checked while Harris would be shielded from similar scrutiny. These recordings are said to provide explicit evidence of ABC's intent to influence the outcome of the debate by creating an uneven playing field favoring Harris over Trump. Additional documentation. Beyond these audio recordings, the whistleblower included documented proof or corroborated by the claims. One such piece of documentation is a certified letter that was sent to Speaker Mike Johnson on September 9th, 2024, prior to the debate. This letter was intended to establish a formal record of the allegations, serving as a time-stamped account that could be used in future investigations. The whistleblower also claimed to have sent a Federal Express package containing the affidavit to themselves and other authorities, such as further means of security the evidence. These steps were taken to ensure the integrity of the whistleblower's claim to prevent any tampering with the evidence. Significance of the evidence. The provision of these audio recordings and documented letters adds weight to the whistleblower's accusations, suggesting that the claims are not merely speculative but are backed by substantial proof. This has led to calls for an investigation into ABC News and its handling of the debate, as the evidence could potentially reveal a significant breach of journalism ethics. While ABC News has issued broad denials of wrongdoing, they have not directly addressed the existence of these audio recordings or content of the whistleblower's documentation. As public figures and media watchdogs continue to scrutinize these claims, the whistleblower's evidence could become a key factor in determining whether any formal investigations or consequences will follow. ABC response. ABC News has broadly denied the allegations of bias, but has so far not addressed specific claims made in the affidavit, such as extents of the alleged internal discussions or the restricted topics. The whistleblower's claim have sparked calls of an independent investigation into the ABC's conduct during the debate, with concerns raised about the potential impact on public trust in media journalism. This situation remains under public scrutiny as both media ethics and political transparency are being called into question. Key figures include politicians and commentators have urged for more comprehensive investigation to uncover full extent of the illegal bias. So there you have it. What do you think? Let me know what you think. Comment below. You like the content. That's all I have for you. Do you think this was very interesting? Do you think that they will ever discover the evidence? Do you think Mike Johnson will ever come out forward with any details? Let's hope so. Yeah, comment below. Let me know what you think. And one very important thing that I like to ask from you is support this content, like, share, subscribe, and just support the channel so I can keep bringing more content like this for you, and will be greatly appreciated. All right, so I'll see you next time, and so I can keep bringing you more stuff like this. All right, and if you have any suggestions, what topics you want me to search for you, just let me know. I'll be glad to search and stay in touch. Comment, let's have a discussion. And discussions is always good. We don't need to be confrontational. And let's have a friendly conversation. No argue back and forth, no cursing. You know, we're all here together. All right, so I'll see you next time. Take care.